Hello, and welcome to I Hate Talking, a podcast about talking, including etymology, frustrating topics, current events, and other random subjects. I'm Adam.
And I'm Steph. We are married, and we invite you into these discussions with us as we talk about the good and the bad of talking.
We hope you enjoy today's episode. Welcome to episode 105 of I Hate Talking.
Hi, everyone.
So today's word or phrase is a word, and that word is the word paywall.
Oh, okay.
So this has come up because the Oxford Language Dictionary is now behind a paywall of sorts. Mm-hmm. And this was previously used in all of our episodes, or nearly all of our episodes. I guess it depends on if it was a particular phrase that we were doing. And then if you've been listening to the last few episodes, you've known that we have not been able to use our favorite Oxford Language Dictionary because of said paywall.
Right. So we use that dictionary for most of our episodes, and now we cannot.
Right. So the Oxford Language Dictionary was actually a collection of dictionaries, mainly from the Oxford English Dictionary, which is and always was, I guess, required a subscription, though apparently you can use a library card to get access to that. But we have not had a chance to test that yet, if our library cards work or not.
Oh, that's why. Is that why you asked me about my library card number?
That is why I asked you about your library card number.
I thought that was weird. I did look on Hoopla, where I get a lot of my audiobooks and ebooks, and they do not have it.
There you go. So if you use a search engine to search Oxford Language Dictionary or Oxford English Dictionary and the word paywall, you can get to their fact sheet for free, which says that there's only one entry, and it gives a little bit of frequency of usage, and it gives very summary information about the etymology, where it says that paywall is formed by combining pay and wall in English, and a little bit about the usage in terms of first being used in the early 2000s, particularly 2004, and that apparently it was first published in Oxford English Dictionary in 2012.
Okay.
And then if you use Google to ask for a definition of a word in the past, it would have incorporated some Oxford Language Dictionary results, but now it just gives AI overviews. And it seems to source most of those from Merriam-Webster's.
Interesting. So what is the purpose? Why do you think Oxford did this, or the publishers?
Well, there's perhaps the fact that they want to make more money, or didn't feel that they were getting equitable income for the usage, especially within Google perhaps. Or maybe Google wants to just water down the meanings of words and give it all over to AI. So I guess it depends if you go with the capitalism aspect or the conspiracy aspect.
I probably go with capitalism, though I enjoy conspiracies. Because it is kind of challenging if you have if all of your information and news and even vocabulary comes from one source and they quiet every other source, they can really make words mean anything in a couple generations and really control the narratives.
Yep, well, that was part of the theme of 1984. Probably need to go read that book again. It'd probably be interesting to see how much has changed since my reading of that back probably in my high school days. Maybe was my last time reading that.
Last time? Did you read it multiple times?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I've never read it.
Well, there you go. Maybe we'll read that and do an episode on the book, 1984.
Maybe.
I think there's a quote about the meaning of words in that book. Now I'll have to search that. Will we use Google or will we use another alternative search engine?
Is there even an alternative? There used to be like Yahoo. Does Yahoo even have a search engine any longer?
I don't know.
Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves. Yeah, that was a good one. In Google's Chrome, you actually can choose 5 different search engines.
Oh.
There's Google. There's Bing, which is Microsoft.
Oh, I never liked that one.
There's Yahoo. There's DuckDuckGo and Yandex. I've heard of Yandex. I've never used it. I think it might be a European search engine, I think.
Never heard of those last 2. But yeah, so Yahoo's still around, I guess, huh?
They're still hanging on. I'm not immediately finding any quotes, but maybe it was another dystopian novel that had something about how the meaning of words was used to subjugate the people.
Well, I guess it's time to read the book again.
Indeed. So something interesting that I found during the course of trying to research the history of the Oxford Language Dictionary and the use of the paywall, which we have not even actually defined yet, so I guess we'll have to do that, is that there's a feature within DuckDuckGo, which I have now since changed my default search engine from Google to DuckDuckGo.
It doesn't even sound like a real thing.
You've never heard of DuckDuckGo?
No, it sounds like a kid game.
Well, it was previously purported to be less intrusive search engine. So basically privacy, and they wouldn't keep your results and search history and things like that. So it was supposed to be more privacy friendly, which I think perhaps is not the case anymore. There's people that say that DuckDuckGo does record all that information now, just like every other search engine. So maybe not so much useful from the privacy perspective, but they do have a feature where it has a no AI feature.
Okay. So you can click that and they won't, like how usually now Google gives you your first thing is AI generated.
Correct.
Or you just don't get any AI, period.
The search results are a little bit different, I think, from my brief testing of it. So you can go to noai.duckduckgo.com and it brings you to the page that says no AI with a little cute picture of a duck icon. And it says you search privately without AI. It has AI assisted answers turned off, and it also removes AI generated images. And when I was briefly testing it and using it to search for different things like camping or some of the history on dictionaries, it was quite refreshing of an experience. It was almost like going back to a decade ago and using search engines.
How so? Like what was refreshing about it?
We got like results of websites that may contain the answers that you need instead of getting this perfectly curated answer that may or may not be correct. I think most times the AI generated answers are pretty close, but this was like the old days where you actually had to do a little bit of digging to find the answers that you wanted.
So it was refreshing, like nostalgic for you.
It was nostalgic. Look at all the different websites and then go to the website that you wanted to see and then read the text within the website. Because we have had that instance where we were trying to get New York boat schedules and things like that, and AI was completely wrong because it was reading a website that was outdated. And if you had visited that website, you would see that it like either no longer exists or no longer was relevant and would have not made that mistake.
Yeah. One of our kids is doing their very first research project, and that's what they're doing in school. They're big end of the school activity. And so I'm teaching him how to do a research project. And, you need a certain amount of books and magazines and websites. And I cannot convince him that we need to go to the library and get books. He wanted to cite Wildcrats, which is a good show. He's doing it on porcupines. And they have an episode. And then he found so much information online about porcupines. He's like, I don't need a book. I'm like, ugh. But you do because it's the project. And I do agree. He has a lot of information on porcupines. The websites, if you just Google porcupines, a ton of stuff pops up, right? Like National Geographics and all those. But there's still something about going to the library and looking up the actual books. Because, yeah, those aren't going to change it. I mean, porcupines probably don't change, right? That's not probably a hot button topic that the media changes. But it's harder to change something that's written down in a book and binded than something that's online.
That's true. So if I use noai.duckduckgo.com and search to find paywall, it does give a little bit of summary information from a website. So it does give a snippet of a definition provided by wordnik.com. So wordnik.com, which primarily cites the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, 5th edition.
Okay, how do you feel about that one when you're ranking them?
So I'm not converted 100%. I'm still probably going to try to see if our library cards work with the Oxford Language Dictionary's access, but this could be a good replacement.
Oh, okay.
So American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, 5th edition, defines paywall as a noun, a feature of a website that denies access to certain content to users who have not paid to view it, or a feature of a website, application, or service that only allows access to certain pages, data, or features to paid up subscribers.
Okay, I mean, that sounds accurate.
And then it does have etymology as well. So that is also a feature of the Oxford Language Dictionaries that I always enjoyed. And the American Heritage Dictionary does have etymologies. I don't know if there's any very deep etymology in the word paywall because it is basically pay plus wall. And part of the etymology was from related software terms of a firewall. So firewall being that thing to prevent unauthorized access into various softwares or applications or websites. So this is another type of wall, and it is a paywall because you have to pay to go past it.
So would this only have been in the last couple decades then, since the internet? It was not a term used prior to that?
Correct. So it seems like this was first used maybe in some articles online in 2004, and then there's various dictionaries that added it to their dictionary sometime between 2010 and 2012 is when it seems to be categorically added into dictionary definitions.
Oh, wow, that's pretty soon.
And then the American Heritage Dictionary also has stats. So you can go, if you have a American Heritage Dictionary or a wordnik.com account, you can favorite words, you can comment on words, and you can also learn that paywall has a Scrabble score of 15.
Okay.
So lots of interesting information.
Well, there you go.
So
sounds
there
like
you go. So
like it.
yeah, American Heritage Dictionary has one up on Oxford Language Dictionaries because it gives you the Scrabble score.
Yeah, and you can you said like words or upvote words. What is it?
So on here, there's a button that says love. So you can love the word.
Okay. How many people have loved paywall?
Nobody. You could be the very first.
Oh, wow.
You can make your account on wordnik.com or AmericanHeritageDictionary.com. And
Well,
you can love
talking
paywall
to
and you
make
can
an
be
account.
first. That's true. We can create an account and then we could go love every word that we've ever done.
Oh, that will take a long while. But yeah, you can do that.
So there you go. I suppose we will still look into Oxford Language Dictionary, see if we can use our library card, or perhaps you, our listener, have tried that and either have paid for an account or have attempted to use your library card, you can always let us know your experience in a comment or send us a text or an email or whatever the case may be. But it sounds like I Hate Talking may be converting to the American Heritage Dictionary.
There you go. What are your opinions on paywalls? Pro, con?
Pro et contra on paywalls. I mean, I certainly am aligned that people need to get paid for the work that they do. So if that's the method in which they employ in order to get a paycheck, quote unquote, for the work that they're doing, I can understand that. But I also am a proponent of the free exchange of information, especially if it's relevant to perhaps society or science or health, that those type of things should be more in the vein of free exchange of ideas. So like if there's certain medical studies or things like that that are maybe relevant to some sort of medical experience that you're encountering, that it would be nice if those things were free.
Yeah, I agree. I think as a whole, I don't have a problem with paywalls or paying for information. I do think that if it's like news or medical and that sort of thing, I think that should be free for us all to know. Even like the weather, right? You pay for more advanced weather alerts than I have on my phone. And I don't really like that you have to pay to get better alerts, because that seems like a safety issue. So those, I think, I don't like paywalls for that kind of stuff. I think if it's a safety issue, health or weather or anything like that, that should be free and common knowledge. I have no problem, though, with creators charging for their stuff. Like occasionally there will be a content creator and they'll do like some free stuff on maybe Spotify, and then they'll have like a Patreon account. And I don't mind paying for their Patreons or paying for a while and then stopping again, because their time is worth something and I value their information they're sharing. And the same thing, another website I use a lot that I pay for is Teachers Pay Teachers. And usually it'll be like, a teacher or someone makes something. I bought one the other day. We're doing in school, one of our kids is doing The Mouse and the Motorcycle. They're reading the book. And so I paid for some curriculum for that so that they have activities to do revolving around that book. And again, it was a couple dollars, and I valued their time, putting all those discussion questions together and activities together versus me coming up with it myself. So I think they deserve that couple dollars.
That's true. So, and I also don't feel too bad if it's a particular news source or something that is useful information that I can align spending some money to support that particular organization. But I suppose if you had to have accounts for all the different news organizations, it would be quite a significant sum to subscribe to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a trick that I guess if you need a particular paper or medical study, that oftentimes the author or group of authors will list their email. And most times if you really want that, you can email them and say, may I have a copy of your study or paper? And most times they will email it to you. Again, an internet tip. I've never actually attempted this, but I've read that that is possible if you are very set on getting access to content like that and don't want to pay for it.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, it may or may not work, but that's what the internet says.
Well, does DuckDuckGo say that?
I don't know.
Or
I mean, there is
Google.
that famous quote from Abraham Lincoln that says, you can't believe everything you read online.
Right.
There is a AI video of the assassination of Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, yeah?
It was actually...
It looked good?
It looked good. It looked sort of like what the period would look like if they had cameras like that back then.
Did they not have cameras at all back then?
Well, I don't think they had videography.
But they had more than just like painters, right?
Yes.
now I'm like trying to do the math in my head. Like, yeah, right?
Yes. According to DuckDuckGo's AI search assistant, the first photograph was taken in 1826.
Wait, you just said they didn't have AI.
They have AI, but you can turn it off.
Oh, okay.
So you have the two different options.
Okay.
So you can use their standard search, which does have their version of Search Assist, which is AI, or you can go to noai.duckduckgo.com, and then it turns it off.
Okay. So read that to me again. And then right before you do, though, I'm going to look at mine and see what my preferred search engine tells me.
Yep. Search? I searched for when the first camera was invented or when the first picture was taken.
Okay. What'd yours say?
The first photograph was taken in 1826.
Yeah, that's probably what I have. I prefer Gemini. It's where I actually get a lot of my information now. And as we're living in a new home, I'll even take pictures of rooms and be like, how should I decorate this wall? And it will create a nice image and reasoning for why I should put a picture frame there or something. So yes, they have a huge list and they break it down. But 1826 was the date they have for the, quote, first camera as we think about it.
Yes, we can search for video camera. Make sure that the video camera was not invented during the assassination of Abraham Lincoln.
Well, Gemini, again, says the first moving picture camera was 1888.
That is what mine has as well, 1888. The Roundhay Garden Scene by Louis Le Prince.
And Abraham Lincoln was assassinated in 1865.
Correct.
So cameras were invented, but not video cameras.
Yes.
Okay. It's not like I believed what you were saying that a camera video surfaced of it. I was just making sure.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln said it. Don't believe everything you read online. So I guess we have some to-dos still. We still need to test our library card for Oxford Language Dictionary. I have to do some more research on the American Heritage Dictionary. Make sure that is a suitable source, perhaps if we use that moving forward. And the good thing is you, our listener, do not have to pay anything. There is no paywall for our podcast.
Nope.
So you can always listen to this wherever you get your podcast and like, share, subscribe, and you can share it with other people. And they also will not need to encounter any paywall to listen to this episode or any of our previous episodes, nor at this time planned any future episodes.
Right. Yeah.
There are people that do that. Like that's sort of the way that podcasts go. They start out free and then they have subscriber episodes that are
right.
only
they get
available.
You hooked.
Right.
And
then they make you pay for their extra content.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. We do have a listener support link, though. I don't think we've ever mentioned that. We just silently added it in the background. But that is there.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. But yeah, more than that, sharing and liking and commenting helps us get our
hobby done.
Yeah.
And then likewise, you can always let us know if you have a particular favorite search engine or a favorite dictionary.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
So from your friends at I Hate Talking, until next time, remember, it is only through talking that we begin the journey to understanding.